So, yesterday I spent all day thinking about presidential candidates. The debates were last night. Um, I had tuned the whole thing out. I was very sad because Trump had pulled ahead after the impeachment. And then I heard that the former mayor of New York was in the race, and with $60 billion, that's like 20 times as much as Trump. So I said maybe somebody can beat Trump, even if it's all going to be corporate emptiness. Then I started finding out some more and talking about it on Facebook, and I found out some more about Bernie Sanders, and I think that's great. I don't know. I'll probably vote for anybody who is against Trump because of the pardons of Blagojevich and Michael Milliken. The question is, where is good and evil? Somebody in my Facebook profile mentioned the Soviet Revolution. And, usually I try to talk about subjective experiences in society, but talking about the conflict between rich and poor and evoking the Soviet Revolution brings it to a much more serious and fearful level, with the sense of billionaires taking over the country. I actually think they already have, but we have to go into the space of the web and find a personality or a persona that makes sense, because so much of what people think is possible is based on sentimentality from another decade, from another century. And obviously vampires in Hollywood and other places are making money recycling that sentimentality. Superheroes and bow ties and things like that, because that's all we have left. There's no vital center. There's no sense of us moving toward anything but increased corporate productivity. And that's not going to help us with the economic downturns. So we're all going to be very cheerful and proclaiming ourselves free while we do whatever the billionaires want. Now, I know that the best I can go for is divine love. I've decided. I had a nice revelation. I'm 50 years old. I'm single. My target is divine love, to move toward the love of God, not just, I've got the pattern down. I work. I pay bills. And I want as much love as I can get before I die. So I go to the best place possible. I'm not going to make any waves. I'm not going to cause any ripples. I think about somebody like Bernie Sanders, who's in a position to take a stand against big money in politics. That stand is worth it. I thought of him as being like Ralph Nader, a candidate with like 4% of the vote. But he's actually leading the election, and that's serious. And boy, I was thinking maybe I should move to Vermont, right? And I also have to remember not to have plastic bottles of soda sitting around when I do this, because apparently they decompress and pop. So, so that's my life. I actually was sitting here, unshaven, having just woken up, thinking I'll just go on and put something on YouTube, and I did get it together enough to shave. And so now I'm looking for love, the feelings that I feel. See, I have to figure out with my guides where the nothing is, because I go on these inner adventures, and they're very fun, And they do inform my intuition, so I get better at being an intuitive, and people have paid me to do readings for them. But they don't come down in the political arena. Obviously, I still worked for corporations most of my life, hiding who I felt I was, wondering how my strange intuitive experience fit with the cold emptiness of the world I was employed in, and nothing to help me but these silly Durian Virtue Oracle decks saying everything is within the now and learn to let go. While the country I live in turns into a medieval arena. I have to come up with a good name for that, but just, you know, the loss of the sense of freedom that we all have, and the increase of the revenue streamers, of which I am pretty much. I opened a Zazzle store yesterday with the Trump parody, talking about things, offering solutions and slogans. Well, I'm not. I mean, this is what I'm working on. I'm working on something concrete, something I can say, I experienced this and that, and there are these other things that people might think are crazy, but I work on it, and I don't want to be in a divided way anymore. So what am I getting? The biggest thing I'm getting is the nothing. Because you see all these images and it triggers you, and you're like, well, I'll go out and I'll say something, or I want to say something, or I want to be something out in that world that I see. But when you get there, it's a mirage. There's nothing there, and it's just more money and more power, and which is fine because it's the world. It's just this different sense of possibilities. What can we do on the web? What can we do with all the tools? You know, it took me 15 minutes to make a Zazzle t-shirt. So I'm going to find out what my guides want, because I have them. I have beings I think are there, and I've always been disappointed that I can't get as much information as I want from them. And the solution from all the revenue streamers, of which I'm one now, but still, that it seems to be find a way to get paid, and then your guides have credibility. And I'm like, I don't think mine are satisfied with that. So I'm figuring something out, and I decided, because I'd just woken up and I didn't want to get too ready, because I've done 4 or 5 videos and they were okay. I have to go back and review them, but I have to feel where I am, and it is working because my energy is getting more balanced. My mind is getting more balanced. I shouldn't say it's imbalanced, because people aren't sympathetic to this. We'll use that, right, if anybody ever sees it, because what I feel like is I'm going to develop my style with this, and then I'll probably set most of it to private or something. But right now it's important that it's existentially, it's just something I can do. And it has worked every time. It's pretty amazing. I'm much healthier in my outlook than I was 2-3 days ago, and I'm much more involved. So I'm thinking about Bernie Sanders and what it means to stand for something. And now my intuition is that's enough for right now.